Welcome to another special episode of Mayor Brown's Quick Insights on Congressional Investigations with Michael Levy and Andrew Ullman, our weekly 5-minute perspectives for in-house counsel and government affairs executives on the most important and challenging issues surrounding congressional investigations. I'm Michael Levy, a white-collar defense lawyer at Mayor Brown. My partner, Andrew Ullman, is former Republican chief counsel on the Senate Banking Committee. This week, we decided to discuss our key observations and takeaways from the first big, high-profile investigative hearing of the 117th Congress. On February 18, the House Financial Services Committee held a virtual hearing entitled GameStop: Who Wins and Loses When Short Sellers, Social Media, and Retail Investors Collide, which looked at the substantial market volatility a few weeks earlier surrounding the stock of GameStop and a few other so-called meme stocks. The hearing had 6 witnesses: the CEOs of commission-free trading app Robinhood, social media website Reddit, market maker Citadel, and hedge fund manager Melvin Capital. Keith Gill, using the Reddit moniker Roaring Kitty, widely reported to have been a major driving force behind GameStop's accelerated price rise, and the director of financial regulation studies at the Cato Institute. Andrew, it was a very interesting hearing. What are your overall observations from the hearing?
Well, first of all, Michael, as is common in House Oversight Committee's investigations, is that it was long. It took most of the afternoon. And so as we've talked about in prior episodes, these are really marathon type events for witnesses. In addition to the fact that the committee has so many members, and the members, my second observation is the members came prepared. They knew they had 5 minutes, and they knew that the best way to be effective is to stay focused on one issue and not try and do everything in 5 minutes, and they did that. So you saw the witnesses going back and forth quite a bit on a wide range of issues.
Yeah, and I thought there were a wide range of issues, not only between the parties, but even within the parties. Different members wanted to focus on different issues, and they did so in an incredibly diverse style of questioning. Yeah. So some people just gave speeches for most of their 5 minutes. Some people aggressively cross-examined, saying only yes or no answers. And when somebody would try to actually give a reasonable explanation of the question, they'd cut them off. Other people gave opportunities to explain to the witnesses for questions that they had gotten from other members. Some people asked, good, legitimate, fact-based questions. And the reality is, as you say, you need to be prepared to deal with all of those different issues, all of those different styles, bouncing back and forth every 5 minutes over the course of 5.5 hours. It can be very challenging.
Yeah, it really was. So what were your takeaways and lessons learned from the hearing?
Well, one lesson learned was clearly stick to your guns, stick to your narrative, even when you're pressured to give one of those yes or no answers or something like that. We had a situation, in fact, in this hearing, which I'd never seen before, very unusual. One of the witnesses' opening statements was interrupted. And the witness very, very wisely didn't get too flustered, went back, stuck to the opening that he had prepared, and went forward. And the fact of the matter is, you really need to stick to your guns, stick to your narrative, because you're going to get versions of the same question repeatedly in different ways throughout the course of the day. You're going to get tired, and being consistent is going to be really important, because what you say can and will be used against you, as they say, in civil litigation and in government investigations going forward. It's sworn testimony. I think my second lesson learned is the story of the 2 hikers who encounter a bear in the woods, and one starts to run. The other one says, "Why are you running? You can't outrun a bear." And the other hiker says, "I don't need to outrun the bear. I just need to outrun you." This was a situation where, for some witnesses, you really don't need to outrun the bear. I think probably 60% of the questions in this hearing were directed to one witness and probably 25% to another. The other 4 witnesses split 15% of the questions probably. So you need to prepare as if you could be one of those first 2 witnesses, but also prepare to recognize that you could be one of the other 4. And if you are, the strategy shifts, and you really need to try to avoid the bear's attention as much as you possibly can. What were some of the lessons that you took out of this?
Yeah, I think the lesson I had too is that all the witnesses were very well prepared and incredibly knowledgeable about the subject matter. And this is a technical issue. It's a brand new issue for the committee and for the public. And I thought that because they knew their businesses so well, they were able to really explain the core issue, what happened. You could tell a lot of members walked out of that hearing saying, "Okay, I understand what happened here. I may have some policy thoughts here about maybe some changes in regulations or not." But they all left better with better understanding. And I think from a witness's perspective, even though testifying is usually kind of a very nerve-wracking situation, it's good to remember that most witnesses are very knowledgeable about the subject matter and have some confidence in that. And that at the end of the day, one of the key reasons the hearing's taking place is members and the public just want to understand what happened. And being able to explain that and rely on the fact that you know your business or the topic so well is a way that a witness comes off as credible. It also, I think, means that members tend to respect that witness more, and you don't see as many hostile questions. And go to your point about sticking to your guns, is you do have a consistent message because you understand the subject matter, and that just means you're going to have a better hearing result overall. So, well, I think we could talk about this topic all afternoon, but we want to keep it to quick insights. So I think we'll end it there, and want to thank everybody for joining this week's Quick Insights on Congressional Investigations. We'll see you next week.